10159, or you can fax us at 212-512-8946.
This has been Comedy Central's Spotlight. Watch a new comedian in the Spotlight every Thursday night at 8. You're watching Comedy Central.
The star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
Welcome to Politically Incorrect. Thank you. We have a great show. Lynn Snowden, Elizabeth Wurtzel, Candida Royale, and Ariana Huffington. Be good. Thank you. And did you hear this? This was, I thought, the most interesting piece of news yesterday. A man in San Francisco went to see Interview with the Vampire. How many have seen this? Yes. Oh, it's a popular movie. And he went home and he tried to kill his girlfriend and suck her blood. I know, amazing. And in a related story, 15 guys in Texas went to see the new Star Trek movie and then put on 35 pounds and joined the Hair Club for Men. So, movie. Very influential. Now, here in New York, a disturbing study came out. 2 out of 5 kids, it turned out, carried a gun. And 3 out of 5 were adopted by Mia Farrow. So, very lot of disturbing news. Here, another one, did you see this? Came out a study that said a lot of time, if you spend a lot of time on airplanes, it can cause your lung to be pierced by a blood clot. And, yeah, I know, not pretty. And if you spend a lot of time on U.S. Air, cause your lung to be pierced by a tree branch. It's very different. Now, speaking of blood clots, Dan Quayle, I only, perhaps you're right, not a good segue. But he had one, but he's fine. I wouldn't bring it up if he was not fine. Yes, and he's coming out, he's in the hospital. He says he hopes to be out by New Year or January 1st, whichever comes sooner. And you know, he before he went in the hospital, he had time to see one of the other big movies out. Junior, have you seen this one? The Arnold Schwarzenegger, not quite the hit that the vampire movie apparently is. Right, and he did not like this movie. He said it glamorizes single fatherhood. You know, he said, men, you know. Men are going to become pregnant, not have a wife, and then go on welfare. You know, and... Boy, for the Clinton administration, it just goes from worse to worster because, no, I mean, their health care program, they had such high hopes for it. Remember, at first they wanted universal coverage for everybody. Then they were willing to go along with the Republican plan of 95%. Now, boy, Hillary's pushing for a price freeze on Doan's pills. That's the best they can do, apparently. Oh, and there was one more bit of information in the Jeffrey Dahmer case, not to belabor it. But the final autopsy findings came in. They opened his stomach, and they found Jimmy Hoffa. Unbelievable. I was surprised. Okay. And finally, the U.S. Olympic coaches have recommended that China be disqualified because 11 Chinese athletes tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Isn't that a shame? And 9 of those 11 also contained MSG. So that's just wrong. Thank you for coming. We got a great show. Stick around. It's all been satirized for your protection. welcome to a plug-laden version of Politically Incorrect. Can barely hold all the products we have to sell. Let's meet our panel. First, a former contributor to the New Yorker and Rolling Stone. She's the author of the much-talked-about new book, Prozac Nation, which I have right here. It looks like this. Elizabeth Wurtzel, our returning champion. Hey, beautiful. How you doing? Nice to see you. Okay. The creator of a series of adult films that explore eroticism from a feminist point of view. Her latest film is Lovers, an intimate portrait. This is what it looks like. I'll be taking this one home with me. Candida Royale. Right over here. Thank you. Come on by. All right. All right, our returning champion, she and her husband have been lightning rods for media scrutiny thanks to his run for the Senate from the state of California. She is a renowned writer, lecturer, broadcaster, author of this book, The Fourth Instinct, and a good friend of this show. I'm so glad she's back. Arianna Huffington. Thank you so much. Okay. And a writer who's regularly published in Esquire, Vogue, and Rolling Stone. She's also the author of the new book. I got to get this out of here. the 9 Lives, a chronicle of 9 different jobs she held from stripper to school teacher. Lynn Snowden is right here. Thank you very much. How do you do? Nice to see you. Nice to meet you and your whole family. Okay, welcome. Well, what do you know? A panel of all women. Lucky me. Here's our first issue. Time was when manners were an important part of everyday life, whereas nowadays, the only time I ever hear someone saying please is when they're begging for sex. little humor, girls. But the erosion of any sort of etiquette is alarming for 2 reasons. 1, Miss Manners might have to change the name of her column to Screw You. And 2, when people stop acting civilized, civilization itself is at stake. Now, you may think that being loud in a restaurant, or asking the president what kind of underwear he wears, or not returning a phone call are minor issues. But if you do, you're not seeing the big picture. So why don't you just shut the hell up? Now, Arianna, I'm going to ask you this first because you are of Greek extraction, where civilization began.
And
Western
ended.
civilization.
Yes, it began
And ended, unfortunately, right.
I think manners start from the top. And you mentioned the president's underwear. You mentioned it first, Bill.
I did.
And the president himself volunteered the information. Nobody had to ask him. He said he prefers briefs to boxer shorts.
But somebody asked him the question.
I think somebody did that. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know what. I
You think he just
what
came?
could he do?
I think he volunteered the information.
You think he just came?
I
Arianna,
think he just wanted everybody to know.
you think he just came down one day to the Blue Room of the White House and said, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I have a small announcement? No. He was asked. He was doing a town hall. I think it was an MTV, one of those MTV things. It was unplugged. He was doing... It was an unplugged. No, it was an MTV thing. You know, he was trying to get the kids, you know.
Very well, Bill. Again, defending the president.
It's true what she's saying, because I know a lot of people do feel that he's unpresidential, and it bothers people. It doesn't actually bother me. I think it's kind of funny, but I mean, this does, you know, this does. I mean, even I, like, there's certain things when I remember when that underwear thing happened, I thought, you know, do I really want to know this? Not
Right.
really.
I mean, the thought of asking FDR or any other president.
Well, I think, but getting back to the manners issue, it's not that you ask a rude question. I think the problem is that women are afraid to be rude. It's not that we're so rude that it's bad. We're afraid to be rude. I mean, I hear women say this all the time. Something absolutely horrible happens. You know, for instance, a man attacks them after going out on a date with them, and they say, well, I asked him up to my apartment because I didn't want to be rude. Or you're in a cab. I had this happen to a girlfriend of mine. She was in a cab that got in an accident. The meter is ticking, and she says, well, I stayed in the cab because I didn't want to be rude and get out and leave the guy. And I thought, this kills me. I mean, men would be like, bye, goodbye, or no, you can't come upstairs, or
You're
take
totally
a
right.
hike.
I agree.
And I
You're
think
totally on another planet. I don't know where you're, what, I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think women have trouble asserting themselves, and they're afraid to be unpleasant.
Oh, my God. I can't believe we're shooting the show in New York City.
Of course, we've been liberated from all of this. You know, don't mess with us.
Okay,
But
I have to take a
we
break,
have to
but when I
teach
come
other
back,
men.
it's going to be 4-on-1.
Waste your New Year's Day with a whole gaggle of twits.
Now they've got to take the bras off from the front. This is really difficult.
Watch the Pythonathon, 25 years of Monty Python. It all starts Sunday at noon, only at Comedy Central.
Having a cat can do wonders for a person's health and happiness. It can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, helping us lead longer, fuller lives. Well, now you can return the favor by feeding your cat Iams every day. Cats love its taste, and it's more nutritious because its quality ingredients are more digestible. Iams cat food, good for life. From the Iams Company.
Hell is a dark prison filled with lost souls and demons. And how do you escape this damnation? Blast the pink demon right between their beady little eyes.
The best game for the 64-bit Jaguar.
There are two important questions to ask when choosing a pain reliever. Does it work fast, and how long will the relief last? For minor arthritis, Advil works directly at the site of pain. It's fast, and Advil provides hour after hour of pain relief. In fact, nothing's been proven to last longer than Advil. Next time you have sore muscles, a backache, or minor arthritis pain, remember, nothing's been proven to last longer than Advil. Advanced medicine for pain.
As a little girl, whenever I got sick, my mom always brought me a bowl of chicken soup. Today, when my daughter gets sick, I can give her something more nutritious, Pediasure.
Ask your pediatrician. Great-tasting Pediasure provides more complete, balanced nutrition than old-fashioned home remedies like chicken soup, milkshakes, or gelatin.
I hate it when she gets sick. At least I can be sure she's getting the nutrition she needs with Pediasure.
Had a party going since 1859. We toasted decks, alcohol, and old lang syne. When you do it this good, you better throw away the book. When America parties, it comes.
If you'd like to be a member of our studio audience, call 212-512-8959.
Okay, welcome back. We were talking about manners and rudeness, and you, young lady, opened up a can of worms, and now you're going to get it because you said, wait a second,
Wait,
just
I
hold
just
your...
want to add one other thing.
Is that not rude to interrupt me?
Assertive. I'm cutting you off.
Assertive,
Okay.
yeah. When women do it, it's assertive. When I do it, I'm a pig.
You're a bitch. No, you're a bitch. You're a bitch when you do that.
But it also depends on whether you have the right political opinions. Because if you have politically correct opinions, then whatever you do, if you're a woman, is brilliant, is interesting. If, as I have found out, you have politically incorrect opinions, then you're being a bitch, you're being assertive, you're interfering. So it slightly depends on what you say, on when you open your mouth.
Yes, as well it should.
I think this kissing business, though, has gotten way out of hand. You know, a lot of men, I'd like to point out, who are not born in Europe, greet women in the business place with a kiss on the cheek. And I'm thinking, where am I, Paris? What's this? I mean, why is this guy, I don't even know, I just met him, kissing me? Is he kissing another businessman? No. Oh. So I just, you know, see.
Get over yourself. I mean, that's not a bit. That's nothing. I mean, that's. If he was sticking his tongue down your throat, I'd say you have a gripe. But I mean, you know what? I'm not thrilled about a kiss from people I don't know either. But or even a handshake, because I'm just a bit of a germaphobe. I don't like someone to touch me unless they mean business. But. I mean, it's just something you sort of put up with in society.
Yeah, but that's masquerading as being polite, when the things that we really care about...
You want to talk about masquerading as...
Masquerading as being familiar. And I think that's what's more disturbing, is that people think they're familiar with you way before they know you at all.
Right.
And, I mean, there's some strange sense of false intimacy.
I'll tell you what is obnoxious, is when a guy gives you, like, a back rub or something like that. Now, that's got it.
To, like, get you into bed with him afterwards, or...
Well, no, that's not bad. I see guys, you know, like they like giving girls back rubs and like, you know, you're tense, and that's disgusting.
On the subway,
because it's so sleazy.
Yeah.
It gives us all a bad name. I mean, every man suffers when some guy does that. I mean,
it's true. No, he relieves the tension. When your accountant does that, though?
No. So when a man comes up to me or behind me and starts giving me a little back rub, I love it. Don't you love that?
Well, say you're sitting in the Silver Bullet.
Which I do often.
You know, I mean, you got 50 million, but you're in the Silver Bullet. And a guy comes up to you and just starts rubbing your neck.
No, not somebody you don't know.
What's the Silver
Bullet? Well, that's what I'm talking. Silver Bullet. That's why they serve Miller Lite.
Oh. I've never been.
Hey, you get off the Prozac and get out. I'm just kidding. Okay.
There was a guy who was stabbing people on New York City streets for
That's
not
rude.
saying excuse me. No, he was doing it because they weren't saying excuse me when he bumped into them. I thought that was really interesting.
I every so often think if one more person is rude to me or does something
You'll
that
kill
I don't
them.
like, I will. I think if I had that threat, like I think if they knew that I would kill them if they didn't, behave, they'd be nicer. You know?
Like Tupac.
Right.
You know, who's going to rob him again?
That's right.
You know, they got a gun, and the guy says, I don't care if you got a gun, I'm going after you. Yeah, listen,
Of what will be the symbolic end of manners, and maybe it will be when Miss Manners uses the middle finger in a traffic dispute.
The middle finger. That's such a polite way to put it. I never got to what I was going to say in this segment, but I will, which is that I have a thesis. That women are as rude as men in their own way, and I will say it if it kills me when we come back.
Need a quick dose of comedy? Watch fast-paced stand-up clips on Doritos Stand Up Stand Up. Next.
We had a big holiday party coming up, and I had family and friends coming I hadn't seen since my daughter's christening. I looked in the mirror, and I still looked pregnant. So I decided to call Jenny Craig. All my life, I'd had sisters who were really tall and thin, so it was really nice to finally have the spotlight on me.
This is the last chance to get your first week of Jenny Craig food free when you join our program. Call 1-800-92-JENNY today.
It was the first Christmas with my new daughter and the new me. It was an absolutely wonderful feeling.
How much longer can he last on that battery?
You know, he just doesn't get it. Duracell batteries outlast all other brands. Hey, Larry, sometime today?
Larry Doty for the birdie.
Hooked it. That should cost him a stroke.
Herb.
Okay, I'll get him down.
Herb.
The copper tops them all.
If you've ever loved a comedian enough to stalk him, Comedy Central is going to send you over the edge. Every Thursday night at Spotlight, 2 hours of somebody really famous, up close and personal. Watch Spotlight Thursday night from 8 to 10.
Hey, I watch Offsides because it's comedy and football. It's kind of like being at the stadium without the food and the adjective.
Catch Offside with Don Herrera, Saturday night at 9 here at Comedy Central.
Want to bite, man? I only got 3 left.
Comedy Central salutes 25 years of bankers, politicians, and killer baby carriages with our first ever Pythonathon. 35 hours of every frame of every episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus. Plus, there'll be tawdry memories from members of the group and the U.S. television premiere of 2 classic Python specials. Break out the tea and crumpets and watch the Pythonathon. It all starts Sunday at noon, only at Comedy Central.
Good night, folks. Just a fairy tale.
Get on Prodigy to take the politically incorrect poll. Call today to order Prodigy software with 10 free hours. 1-800-PRODIGY, extension 260.
Okay, welcome back. Now, before anybody says anything, let me get this out. This is my thesis. Men are rude to women. That is true. They yell, especially in New York, when you walk down the street. I understand that. Construction workers, hey, baby, sucking sounds. That is rude. That is rude. But women are rude, and they don't get called on it. We get called on it. We have a terrible reputation for doing that, deservedly so. But is the construction worker who yells out any worse than an unreturned phone call? Than standing somebody up? Than giving a wrong number in a bar?
I don't think men have the corner on that. I mean, I think that men are just as rude that way. I think men are very insensitive and very heartless about not telling women when they don't want to see them anymore, not returning phone calls. I think men are terrible that way. Awful.
I like cat calls, actually. Maybe I'm very weird
It
this
is.
way.
It's complimentary.
I know. I mean, if it went away, I would...
It's always a troll. It's always the ugliest guy. I guarantee it. I'm serious. No, wait. take it. I mean, seriously, whenever there's a guy that's making a lot of noise, you turn around, it's never the good-looking guy 3 guys down. It's this dwarf with, you know...
Yeah, but, okay, now if you're walking down the street, I guess you're not asking for it, but you know what? Talking about rudeness, women go into a bar, and if you're in a bar, you get there to get picked up. I mean, you're there, or at least to talk to a guy, okay, especially, yeah. And then, not at the Silver Bullet, but I mean, and then when the applicant who comes up to you is beneath what you think you deserve, you don't dismiss him with politeness. You do it in a sneering way. It's like, oh, you think you could get me? How insulted I am.
It must be the way you're doing it.
Oh, yeah, right. It's just me. I'm the only one.
Let's give Bill some lessons of how to do it in a Silver Bullet. But there is also another part of rudeness, and this is how intimate can you be when you first meet somebody, and how much can you tell them of what's on your mind. I mean, I'll give you an example. When I read about Elizabeth's book, you've had that conversation here on the show before about Prozac. You know how I feel about Prozac.
Yes, we did.
I don't think Prozac is a good thing. So I thought to myself, I'm going to tell Elizabeth when I see her. And then I see her here, and I think she's wonderful, and she's really nice. And now I'm hesitating to tell her, but I'm getting it out here. And I want to ask everybody, now, would it be rude if I told someone that I really liked on first meeting what I really believe, which is that Prozac is bad, that it destroys our sense of relating to life naturally, and that whatever you get from Prozac, you can actually get from life, from relationships, from love, from joy, from God.
And the
So
soul.
should I say that?
The soul is the word you used on the show before.
Thank you, Bill, for remembering. It's almost a year ago, so I want to know whether I should say that or not.
No.
Would you tell her if she had spinach on her teeth?
Well, I tell her if she had a... She's got a diamond in her nose, and I didn't say anything.
Telling her it's not necessarily rude.
I mean, something personal, and she could tell me it's none of your business. Right. And I'm interfering on something that's important
No,
to her.
you're not.
But actually, I wrote a book and opened myself up to that kind of thing. I mean, it's not like I'm just some, private person on this subject, at least.
Also, coming from you, it's always charming, I have to say. I'm not a Republican, but as a citizen of California, I wouldn't mind if you ran the state. I really wouldn't.
I think it's because people can't understand what I'm saying. You mean so they can make it up because of my...
I understand everything you're saying, and when we come back, I want to talk about your little election that you just went through.
If you haven't already checked out Politically Incorrect with Phil Maher at Comedy Central, you're missing out on a lot of laughs. And if you haven't been in our studio audience, you're missing out on even more. For tickets to Politically Incorrect with Phil Maher, just call 212-512-8959.
Hey, you're Jimmy Johnson. Yes, huh? You won the last 2 Super Bowls. How you getting into this year's big game and all the parties? I don't know, crash and preload?
Stay tuned to Comedy Central for details.
As a little girl, whenever I got sick, my mom always brought me a bowl of chicken soup. Today, when my daughter gets sick, I can give her something more nutritious, Pediasure.
Ask your pediatrician. Great-tasting Pediasure provides more complete, balanced nutrition than old-fashioned home remedies like chicken soup, milkshakes, or gelatin.
I hate it when she gets sick. At least I can be sure she's getting the nutrition she needs with Pediasure.
Hell is a dark prison filled with lost souls and demons. And how do you escape this damnation? Blast the pink demon right between their beady little eyes.
The best doom for the 64-bit Jaguar.
Throat needs soothing? Reach for new Celestial Seasoning Soothers. Real fruit juice flavor in all natural herbal throat drops. Not too sweet, not too strong. Sore throat relief that's just right. Celestial Seasoning Soothers.
This New Year's Eve, start your celebrating early with Sinbad.
They think I'm a dentist.
Phil Hartman, and a few of their friends.
What do you think?
And a sneak preview of the New Year's funniest family comedy, House Guest. Rated PG. Then,
3, 2, 1!
be our guest for the #1 comedy of the year, Tim Allen, the Santa Claus. Rated PG. Come for House Guests, stay for the Santa Claus. Check newspaper for participating theaters and showtimes.
You know that HBO movie you love so much? The director is right over there by the sculpture. I've just got to meet him.
Man is a legend. Check that. He's a genius in the making.
Excuse me, your last film, it was so gutsy, intense. No one else makes movies like that. That HBO movie really spoke to me.
HBO talked about movies. Movies that matter. HBO makes them, and you don't want to miss them.
Don't tell me you didn't direct that.
I won't.
What do you think, darling? What do you think of that? Who's it by? Aqua. It's fabulous, sweetie. Yeah, I thought so. It's gorgeous.
Comedy Central reminds you that it's all in the name, sweetie. It's all in the name.
Okay, welcome back. This is our last segment. I want to thank my four beautiful people. Ariana, Elizabeth, and Lynn and Candida Royale. I love that name. It sounds like a floor show in Las Vegas, but I still... Have you been over to see the Candida Royale? It's better than Splash. They've got a dolphin now. But in our last segment, I just wanted to bring this up. We had, you know Paul Weyrich? He's a Republican conservative commentator. He was here the other day, and he mentioned, not on the air, but he said a good idea would be if we had debates and disclosures for candidates' spouses as well, because he said, you know, the way it is in the world today, you get the wife or the husband anyway, and you certainly were controversial in that campaign. What do you think about that?
No, I don't think so, because I think that the candidate is the candidate. And if you start having disclosures on his best friend, on his mistress, on his wife, on his chief of staff, then it would get a little confusing. But I do think that at the moment, political wives on campaigns is one thing. Political wives, when it comes to governing, is another thing. Like right now, as somebody said, the problem with Hillary Clinton during the Whitewater controversy was that people were afraid that if she had to resign, Al Gore would become First Lady. Being so involved in legislation is inappropriate unless you've been
but you can't deny
elected.
that husbands and wives today in politics are teams. I mean, Clinton ran before he got shot down about it. He said, you know, you get a 2-for-1. You get me, you get her. Rosalind Carter with Nancy Reagan. Come on. I mean, who ran the White House?
But these people get scrutinized anyway. I mean, what kind of what more disclosure do they need? I mean, there have been articles about...
Forget about the spouse. I think we need less disclosure about the candidate. Yeah. I mean, I think that all the American public is like a giant co-op board, you know, where the standards that we're setting for our candidates are ones that we could never meet ourselves, and that's what we seem to want. And nobody's qualified.
Let me throw out a few names, and you tell me, honestly, we'll just go in very quickly, who you think was smarter in this couple. Jimmy Carter, Rosalind Carter.
Amy.
I think that's unfair. I think they both have their qualities.
Okay, you could run for something yourself, couldn't you? Nancy Reagan, Ronald Reagan.
Oh, God, what a contest.
Really? No, I really think this is very unfair. Let me tell you, this is very... This is very, very sexist, because still we think that if a woman is smart, it means her husband is stupid. We cannot accept that you can have a smart wife and a smart husband.
Or a stupid husband
and
a stupid wife.
Immediately you know, this is such a sexist nation still, that really what we are saying is that candidates should be marrying people who are their intellectual inferior so that they look really dominant. Or, if their wives happen to be smart, they should hide them during the campaign, or they should have them pretend to be baking cookies like Hillary Clinton did after the whole snafu, you remember. And then, of course, after the election is over, they can start speaking in full sentences.
You know, it seems to me, anyway, that the only time they really scrutinize the spouse is when there's some dirt they can dig up against the candidate. So, I mean, really, what's the point here? I would assume that both are quite like-minded. Don't you tend to marry someone who's like-minded?
I don't know, have you? Did you?
No, I think that on the contrary, the more
You're at Comedy Central. This is Doritos Stand Up, Stand Up. Stay tuned for the best stand-up comedy.
Hello, I'm Kristen Wilson, and this is Stand Up, Stand Up at Comedy Central. Today we're talking about crime. Now, how do you avoid a crime? Well, most crimes can easily be avoided if you take the simple step of moving to the Outer Hebrides,